Hello, you wonderful preschool leaders. We did a training a little while ago, and I know that not all of you were able to make it out. So today I am going to do a quick video version of the training material that we went over. We're going to go over this real fast so that way I don't take up your whole day. And great news, there actually will be a prize at the end of the video for those of you who took the time to watch. Now, not everybody who watches is going to win a prize, but everybody who watches gets a chance to win a prize. Does that make sense? Sweet. I'm glad. Okay, let's get into this. There are 3 words that we want to describe our preschool ministry, and we're going to go over those 3 words today. And this will have kind of a theme of 3 to this training video because we have 3 words to describe us and 3 things in each word that I want you to remember. So those 3 words are this. We want our preschool ministry to be organized, consistent, and controlled. I believe that those 3 words are going to make our preschool ministry better, and it's going to make it better and easier for you to serve. I think you're going to have a better experience with a more disciplined classroom, a more functional classroom, and you are going to have more fun serving if you follow these 3 words. So let's talk about what they mean. First word, organized. We want our rooms to be organized, and here's how we're going to accomplish this. First of all, you need to know your leader. Now, all the time I get messages from people saying, "Hey, Evan, I'm not feeling well. I can't be here. Hey, Evan, can I change my date for this? Hey, Evan, I have a question." Now, I am certainly not unreachable. I am happy that you guys feel comfortable talking to me and reaching out to me. However, I really excel, especially on Sundays, when I'm able to be doing ministry, when I'm able to be working with kids and talking to them about what's important to them, talking with parents about things that their kids are struggling with, and just getting to know our adults and their families better. So we have put volunteer leaders in place. Rather than reaching out to me, the best way that we can remain organized is for you to reach out to your volunteer leader. If you serve in the preschool at 9 a.m., then Andrea Munn is your leader. If you are serving at the 10:30 hour, then Amy Jewell is your leader. So again, Andrea in first hour, Amy in second hour. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, how do I reach out to them? I don't have their numbers. Well, lucky for you, you do have GroupMe, and that's a big part of why we moved over to that system. So utilize GroupMe. Andrea and Amy are both on there. If you need anything, send them a message. Let them know. The next way that we can be organized is by confirming on Planning Center as soon as possible. So if you're a regular volunteer, you've done this for a while, you know we use Planning Center in our ministry area to keep us organized. That's how we schedule people, make sure we have our rooms covered, and that's the best way for you to let us know that you can be here. So when we send you a request to serve on Planning Center, please respond ASAP, and I really mean that, as soon as possible. Please let us know. We would really appreciate that. Let us know if you can be here. Let us know if you can't. If something comes up throughout the week, make sure that you decline on Planning Center if you can't come. And then message out on GroupMe. Let your leader know that you can't be here and see if anybody else might be interested in taking your place. Using Planning Center really cuts down on our stress, and it helps us to be able to make sure everything is covered. So we can stay organized by knowing our leaders, by confirming on Planning Center, and by arriving on time. Now, I'm going to be honest, we've been pretty flexible about arriving on time, but I'm going to start being a little bit more stern about that with our volunteers. I know that you guys are volunteering. You're donating your time by helping with us. But if you have children that are in other ministry areas, if you have maybe a teenager upstairs, or maybe if you're dropping off your preschoolers and you have to get to some other ministry area to serve, you know how stressful it can be when there aren't people there in the classrooms to take your kids. That means that you are late to wherever you're serving. Potentially you're late getting into the worship service, whatever it may be. So it's really important that we get into our rooms on time. So the ask is that you arrive 15 minutes ahead of time. And if you are not arriving 15 minutes ahead of time, I'll just be honest, you're going to start getting messages from me and from your volunteer leaders saying, "Hey, where are you? We really need you." If you can't make it here on time, then there may be other roles that we could plug you into that aren't quite as stringent about you getting here on time. But especially for preschool and for our kids ministry, we request that you be here 15 minutes before the service starts. So that's how we're going to stay organized in kids ministry. Know your leaders, confirm on Planning Center, arrive on time. The next word that we want to describe our kids' ministry is consistent. First of all, you need to know your roles. So something new that we've done that you may not yet be aware of is that we've changed some of our job descriptions and our job titles. Before, you would get a request on Planning Center or whatever that was asking you to serve as the classroom leader or the Sunday school teacher, whatever it may be. Now we have 2 different job descriptions. We have a room leader and we have a small group leader. And when you get requested to serve in preschool, unless you're serving in a a special role like Critterland, you're going to get requested to be in one of those 2 roles. So what are those 2 roles? Glad you asked. It's easiest to think about it this way. The room leader is responsible for curriculum. That is the word they need to remember. The small group leader is responsible for relationship. Now, they can both share those roles, but those are the things that they need to make sure are happening and that are their main priority on Sundays. Here's what that looks like. When kids are arriving and getting checked in, the small group leader is going to be sitting with kids, playing games with them, engaging with them, asking them how their week went. The room leader is going to be taking their check-in tags. During the lesson time, the room leader is going to be pulling out some of the activity supplies with the help of the teen helper, and the small group leader is going to again be helping out the kids with the activity. The room leader is going to be the one who's taking a lot of the teaching responsibility. The small group leader is taking a lot of the small group and relationship responsibility. Here's the reason that we have those things. I've shared with you guys before, if you've talked with me or been in my other meetings, about the fact that it's a balancing act with kids ministry. So often I have a kid who comes in and says, "Hey, check out this cool new toy that I got for my birthday." And I would love to spend time talking with a kid about that. But I also have to teach a lesson, and that's an awkward balancing act because sometimes I have to cut off a kid with something that's important to them because I have to move along in the lesson. So the plan is that the room leader keeps the schedule going, keeps the curriculum moving, and the small group leader is able to provide importance to the things that are important to the kids. Now, as I said before, those roles can be shared. Maybe the room leader will say to the small group leader, "Hey, I'm going to lead activity 1. Would you be interested in leading activity 2?" And that's perfectly fine, but we want to make sure that we have a person who's doing each of those things at every given point during the hour. So know your roles. That helps us with consistency. The next way that we are going to be working on our consistency in kids ministry is by sticking to the schedule. Now, we have changed up our schedule slightly, but don't freak out too much. Here's what we've done. We've created a new schedule for each of our classrooms that's complementary and that is consistent. Basically, each of the age groups are going to be doing the same things, just in a slightly different order. So that way, kids are familiar with with what's going to go on in the rooms from week to week. They're familiar with what's going to go on in the rooms even when they transition up to an older age. So it helps keep us more consistent, and it helps us communicate to parents what we're going to be doing during the day. So I am going to attach links to those class schedules in the description on this video. So make sure that you check that out. Look at the description and click on your classroom schedule. That's going to show you specifically based on which age group you're in, what your new schedule is going to look like. So stick to that schedule. We've put it together for a reason. We want the kids to feel comfortable and to have consistency. So stick to the schedule. And the third way that we're going to make our kids ministry consistent is by utilizing our cue cards. One of the reasons that kids tend to misbehave is that they're not always sure about transitions. Transitions are that hard time where it's hard to keep them focused. It's hard to remind them what they're supposed to be doing. So we have created cue cards to help you with that. Here's a picture of some of those cue cards. These are going to be hanging up on the wall. We've also supplied you guys with some oversized clothespins with like a cool little arrow on it. You can use those to clip to the bottom of the cue card to show the kids what you're doing now. So, for example, when it's activity time, you can clip the clothespin to the bottom of the activity cue card, and then every kid in the room is going to know this is what we're doing right now. Then when it's time for a transition, you can prep the kids ahead of time by saying we're about to transition. If kids ask you things like, when is snack time, you can show them on the cue cards that it's coming up next or that it's coming up in one rotation, whatever it may be. So the way that we're going to be consistent is by knowing our roles, small group leader versus room leader versus teen helper, whatever it may be. Stick to the schedule that we have supplied. Again, that's linked in the description of this video. And utilize those cue cards. I'm going to be pretty frustrated with you if I come to your classroom and see that you're sticking to the schedule, but you're not utilizing those cue cards. Because those cue cards, I promise, are going to be helpful to you and helpful to your kids because it helps them transition and helps them know what's coming up next. So that's how we can be consistent in our kids' ministry. So So those were two of our three words. Our last word is controlled, as you may remember. Now, up to this point, I've been telling you things that I would like you to do. So a couple things that we've changed, a couple things I'd like you to do. Now I'm going to tell you about why this is going to help you and why you're going to be glad you did it. Because when we are organized and when we are consistent, we have more controlled classrooms. I'm not blind to the fact that preschool kids can be a little bit crazy. Your volunteer job is not easy. Believe me, I have a preschooler at home. I know how this stuff works. This is going to help you. Being organized and being consistent is going to help you have a more controlled classroom because, first of all, kids will transition easier. As I already said, when you utilize those cue cards, kids will be able to mentally prepare for the transition that's coming up. One of the things that I have found with my daughter is that when I allow her to watch TV and I turn it off at the end of the episode, a lot of times she gets very frustrated. Sometimes she acts out. But if I give her a cue and say, Violet, there's 3 more minutes left in your show, or if I say, Violet, we can't watch this whole movie, you can only watch about 5 more minutes, she transitions way better because she's prepared for the transition. So utilizing those cue cards are going to help your kids transition each Sunday from one activity to the next. But there's a bigger transition as well. One of the struggles that we have had in the past is that when kids transition from a younger age group up to an older age group, they have trouble acclimating for several weeks because they have to get used to the new routine. Luckily, because we have a consistent schedule in each of our classrooms, and because all of our classrooms are utilizing these cue cards, as soon as a kid comes into the room in a brand new class setting, they're going to feel familiar. They're going to feel at home. And those first few transition weeks are going to be so much easier when you have new kids moving up into your classroom. So being organized and being consistent is going to help you be more controlled because kids will transition better. I promise. Stick to those rules. They will transition better. Secondly, everybody's going to have a better experience, not just the kids. It's going to be easier for you because you know what to expect. You're not having to make up a schedule on the fly in your head because we've provided a schedule for you. You're not having to figure out what needs to happen next because we've set it up. You're going to have a much more easy experience as far as the goings-on of the classroom. You're going to have an easier experience with discipline. It's going to be a lot more calm and controlled environment. But also, parents are going to have a much more easy experience because parents are going to know when they drop their kids off what they can expect. They're going to know what's expected of their child. They're going to feel confident because you're going to be in the room 15 minutes ahead of time, and they know that they can depend on that. So everybody is going to have a better experience. Not just the kids, not just the parents, but you as well. And thirdly, the way that we're going to be more controlled is that good behavior is going to get recognized. Here's something new. I gave you a few things new already. I know the schedule is slightly new, still more or less the same schedule, just more structured. The cue cards are new, but again, that's just part of the schedule. We have a brand new thing now, and this is a brand new discipline system that we have created. This discipline system involves treasure boxes. So each of your classrooms has been supplied with some sticker charts. These sticker charts have several opportunities that kids can earn a little gold foil star sticker. You give those star stickers to kids when they have had a good Sunday. Now, good Sundays look different for everybody. There's some subjective stuff to this, but what a good Sunday looks like is a child that's engaged with what you're doing, a child that is interested in participating and being a good friend to others, and a child that transitions well, that listens to what you're saying and behaves well. When a child does this, at the end of the hour, you can give them a gold star sticker on their little sticker chart. Now, you'll kind of notice if you look at this sticker chart that there are 2 blanks and then a treasure chest. That's because after 2 Sundays of earning a star, they are allowed to pick a prize out of the treasure box. These treasure boxes are new and they have been placed in your classrooms for you for this purpose, so that when a kid gets 2 gold stars, they can pick out a treasure. There are some age-appropriate prizes inside there, including things like bouncy balls, little foam airplanes that they can build, little bendy stretchy people for our younger kids, all sorts of fun little stuff, little rubber finger puppets. So when kids earn 2 gold stars, that means 2 weeks of good behavior that they can pick out a prize from the treasure box. This is going to be a great way to do some positive reinforcement that will help kids who are still struggling with those transitions. The transitions will get better, I promise, but this is a way to help and to kind of push that forward. The one caveat that I put onto this is that I request that you don't give these out for memorizing the memory verse. Now, I know it's great when kids learn the memory verse. We want that to happen. In fact, that's why the memory verse is a weekly part of our rotation now, because we want the kids to learn it. However, when you give out stars for memory verses, two things happen that are not so great. The first thing that happens is that new kids feel alienated. When a new kid comes, they're not going to know the memory verse, and that's not great. Also, kids who just struggle at memorizing things are going to struggle at earning stars if we do it based on memory work, and that kind of stinks. But the second reason is when we apply too many metrics, when we apply too many ways to earn stars, it becomes confusing for kids, and it will dilute the power of this as a discipline tool. I'm furnishing these treasure boxes as a way to help you maintain classroom discipline and to make your job easier. If we start giving out stars for other reasons, then that's going to mean it's going to lose some of the importance of behaving. A kid's going to learn that, hey, if I learn the memory verse, or if I do something else, I don't have to behave and I still get a prize. That's not the goal. This is specifically a behavioral tool, and I would love it if you could use it that way. So that was a whole lot of information crammed into a fairly short video. I actually managed to tag right into that perfect YouTube length right here, right about 12 to 15 minutes. So we're going to wrap up. Remember, the 3 words that we want to have in our preschool ministry are organized, consistent, and controlled. We ask that you respond to us on Planning Center. Show up on time, 15 minutes before the hour that you were requested to serve. We ask that you communicate with your volunteer leaders through GroupMe and that you let us know when you need help or assistance. We want you to remember your roles, stick to the new schedule, and utilize those cue cards to help the kids transition well. And we believe that when you do all of those things, your kids will have a better experience, you will have a better experience, and you will enjoy your volunteer role more. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. As promised, I have a giveaway to take care of right now. So this video is linked out on YouTube. What I would love for you to do is to like this video and then comment in the comment section down below whether you would prefer to get an Amazon gift card or a Starbucks gift card. Also, make sure that you put your name so that way I'm able to contact you. That's going to be pretty important. So make sure that you put your name and that you put which you would prefer, a Starbucks card or an Amazon card. I am going to be doing a drawing at the end of this month, here at the end of November, to be able to see who wins that card. And I will let you know over email. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. And thank you for all that you do to make a difference for our preschool kids, because believe me, even when it doesn't feel like it, you're making a big difference. Have a great week, guys.